This week on Outdoor Oklahoma, plenty of bass anglers dream of catching one 10 pounds or bigger. But today you'll meet one angler that literally makes a career out of doing it regularly right here in Oklahoma. Learn his secrets to success right now on Outdoor Oklahoma. Hello and welcome to Outdoor Oklahoma. I'm Todd Craighead. You know, it's no secret that Oklahoma is known as an incredible bass fishing state with many great nationally recognized fisheries. And because of the great efforts of the Wildlife Department's Fisheries Division, and more specifically the efforts of their Florida largemouth bass production and distribution, well, Oklahoma's average bass size has just continued to get bigger over the decades. Now, my personal best is 7 pounds, and in fact, I caught it while we were filming a segment of Outdoor Oklahoma many years ago. Now, for most folks, a 7-pound bass is still a really big fish, but I've still always dreamed of one day catching a double-digit bass. Well, a couple years ago, I got a phone call from Chuck Justice, an avid Oklahoma angler that in many circles is considered really a true bass fishing legend. Now, I've known Chuck for more than 20 years, but we'd never been fishing together until he called me up and invited me to join him on McGee Creek Reservoir.
My name is Chuck Justice. I'm the only angler to ever have more than one bass on Oklahoma Top 20 list. I've had 4 of them on there. I've also had 2 clients that have had Oklahoma Top 20 fish. And I have personally boated since 1990, boated and released 196 bass in the state of Oklahoma, 10 pounds or bigger since 1990. It's 196, and those basically all came out of McGee Creek Reservoir and Sardis Lake.
For many bass anglers, catching a double-digit bass is considered to be the ultimate accomplishment. But for Chuck Justice, it's not only his profession, it's an obsession. For more than 30 years, Chuck has made a living catching and releasing giant double-digit bass.
Hey Todd.
Hey, good morning, Chuck.
How you doing, man?
I am fantastic.
Well, we got a beautiful morning, don't we?
Oh, this is going to be great. You know, I was thinking on the way over this morning, we've known each other for 20 years at least, and this is our first time to actually go fishing together.
I know. Like I said, we talked on the phone before you came to, before we set this up, that we never got to fish together before, so we've been saving it up. So
That's
we
right.
saved it up for a good day, it looks like.
That is fantastic. Well, I'm ready.
We just get your rods and reels, man, get them in the boat, and we'll go out and see if we can catch us one of these big old McGee Creek bass.
All right, sounds good.
Step onto my office.
Today's office.
Oh yeah. Well, Todd, here's what we got going on today. Even though it's a beautiful day, the last 3 days we've had some of the coldest weather, and it's April. I told the guy yesterday it was April Fool's Day, and boy, it was a big one. Yesterday the high was 55. The water temperature this morning is 52 degrees. 4 days ago, it was 61 degrees. It's dropped 9 degrees. That's a big drop for largemouth bass. I won't be surprised if this morning, if the bite's not a little tough this morning, but we've got this bright blue sky, and if the wind doesn't get up too strong, where that light can penetrate the water, some of the bigger fish should try to move up this afternoon, and maybe we'll get us hold of us a really big fish, double-digit fish this afternoon. That's what we're going to shoot for. My fishing career, my trophy bass fishing career, my guiding started as a New Year's resolution in 1987. My best friend, Bill Rogers, who lives in McAlester, Oklahoma, we made a New Year's resolution that we were going to learn how to catch big fish. We were smart enough to realize, okay, if we want to catch trophy fish, you can't go fish somebody's pond or something. We're going to have to start targeting lakes that have been known for producing trophy fish. We started figuring out, when we would actually get a chance to hook a big one, well, broke the line, didn't have a big enough line, well, straightened out the hook, so all those mistakes and being willing to learn from those mistakes, every time we were getting more and more knowledge. We started catching some really, really, really big fish, and what happened was, one morning there at Sardis had gone out, and by 8:30 had 5 bass in a live well that were so big the live well lid wouldn't close. A couple of weeks later, I got notification from the state of Oklahoma that I'd caught 2 Oklahoma top 20 fish, and that's what started it right there. At that time, and still at this time, I'm still the only angler to have more than 1 bass on the top 20 list. So I had 2. Went back to Sardis 1 year later to celebrate my anniversary of catching those 2 top 20 fish. And it was noon before I got my first bite, but it was my 3rd Oklahoma top 20 fish, and at that time I tied for the 2nd largest bass ever caught in the state of Oklahoma. And that was the snowball that started everything rolling. Did not know that New Year's resolution was going to change my life. In 1987. And Bill and I both owned our own businesses, and we were smart enough to realize, okay, now if you're going to catch big fish, we were serious about it. It wasn't like a New Year's resolution that you blow off. We were very serious.
Yeah.
So the first thing we realized was, okay, if we're going to learn how to catch big fish, we're going to have to go fish areas that are known for big fish. In other words, you got to go to big fish lakes. You can't go to somebody's farm pond, usually. So anyhow, so we did. We started going to. Back in those days, we went to Carnival, and then we went to Dripping Springs, and fished all different kinds of lakes. And in doing so, then Lakeport came along down in Texas, which was only a 3-hour drive away, and we burnt that 3 hours up a lot. And learned a lot down there because there were so many big fish, and figured out, got my line broke, didn't have big enough line, got big enough line, got my hook bent, got to get a bigger hook, not actually bigger, but a stronger hook. And then then broke rods, got to get a better rod. It was through trial and error, because there was nobody back in those days to really learn anything from it. Back in the late 80s and early 90s, if you caught a 10-pound bass, you were a guy that somebody knew that caught a 10-pound bass. Yeah. It was kind of a very much a rarity. Yeah. And learning all those different things that we learned, by making all the mistakes that we made, we kept getting better and better at what we were doing. Yeah. And it all kind of came to a head. I have boated and released 196 bass, 10 pounds or bigger, and I've gotten within 3 ounces already twice in the last 3 weeks. I've caught 2 913s in the last 3 weeks. So I catch a lot of fish that size. I catch a lot of fish in the 9 to 10 pound range every year. I don't know of anybody else in the state of Oklahoma that's caught more than I have. Oh, there's a bite. Here we go. Here's a good one. This is a better fish here. A lot better fish. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go, folks. Here's us what we've been looking for all day right here. That's what we've been looking for, folks, right here. Here's us a Chuck Justice special right here. Come here, pretty mama. Come here, pretty mama. Come to daddy. There we go. That's more like what we've been looking for today. We've had some tough fishing conditions because, like I said, we had a front coming through. But slow days when I'm guiding, slow days for my clients, it gets tough for them. Let me lay that rod down. It gets tough for them, man, because you know they're not catching very many fish. But for me, personally, when I'm not catching a lot of fish, that's typically when I catch some of these big monster toads like this baby right here. That's a real good solid, and that's a 7.5 pound fish. Real short, probably not even out of the slot. We have a 16, 22 inch slot here at McGee Creek. As you can see, she's got fat belly on her. They haven't, you know, as you can tell, she hasn't been up shallow or anything yet, trying to spawn or any of that kind of stuff. So she's in real good shape. So, little bitty mouth, fish grow real fast here. I would venture to say that 7.5 pound fish might be 4 years old max, maybe 3 years old. So she's really pretty shape, real good health. So I think it's time to put her back in the water and see if we can't catch a bigger one. Okay. There you go. Bye-bye, sweetheart. You go tell your great grandma we're looking for, okay? Can you come up and jump for us? Can you shoot? You're free. You're free. You're gonna realize it here in just a minute that you're free. Bye-bye. Oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. That's a McGee Creek special there.
Well, that's what I came to see. I've been hearing about all these big McGee Creek bass, and Chuck Justice just put one in the boat. Man, that is awesome.
You know, I'm a bass addict. What can I say? You know, I blame it on my grandma. My grandma started all this when I was about 3 or 4 years old. I can remember being at my uncle's house, and my grandmother came from California to visit us here in Oklahoma and went to my uncle's pond. My grandma actually took a knife from the kitchen. We cut a willow limb. We tied some cord to it. She found an old hook, put a hook on there, dug up worms out of the cow lot, and went down there and we caught a bunch of perch. She took them back, cleaned them, and cooked them for me. I've been hooked ever since. I just have such a burning love for this. It's something I never get tired of. People say, you ever get tired of fishing? No, my body gets tired sometimes, but I never get tired of it. I mean, even when I'm home, I mean, I fished 8 hours, you know, and I've done it for several days in a row. When I'm at home at night, my brain's still clicking. I'm wondering, okay, tomorrow, what am I gonna do tomorrow? What will I do tomorrow to offset what happened today? You know, or what do I need tomorrow? You know, it's not like I just go home and sit down and forget about it. I go home and usually in the afternoons, I'm getting more lures out and doing this and doing that. It's a burning passion I have. Here we go. This is a good one, man. This is a good one. Another big one. Another great big one.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, big one. Here we go. Oh, it's not as big as the other one, but nice. Had his mouth open. Yeah, I got you. I propped your mouth open, didn't I? Boy, that one can get away. Look where that hook is. It's right out of its jaw. That's the one reason it felt so good. I hit him so hard that I stunned the fish. And I do that sometimes. See how that fish is, he's knocked out. He's not fighting or anything. That's the reason it pulled so hard. That's another nice quality female. You can tell these fish here at McGee Creek are real healthy. You know, thick backs, thick bellies, no blemishes on them. The bass here at McGee Creek, they're extremely healthy. One of the things that amazes me is that I catch very few fish here that have hook marks in their mouth. You know, a lot of lakeside that I go to, other lakes, I catch fish and they'll have hook marks in their mouth, you know, which means somebody obviously caught them. Here you don't see that a whole lot. Turn her loose, put her back down there. You go tell your great grandma we want to talk to her pretty please. There you go, man. Bye-bye, sweetie. We'll talk to you later. Adios. Yeah. All right. There's a big difference between trying to catch trophy bass and just going bass fishing. You know, there's several things that I think that the average angler does that hurts him when he's trying to catch trophy fish. And I see this basically every weekend. Every weekend on these lakes that I guide on, I see tournaments come in. Sometimes the tournament anglers will catch fish over the slot, but the last 3 tournaments held on this lake, there have no bass been caught that were over 22 inches. Haven't been any caught over 22 inches. Now the fish are here. Now I'm taking out people, and we are catching fish over 22 inches in the same time, same days. The thing is, the biggest #1 mistake that people make, in my opinion, when they're trying to catch trophy fish, is they fish way too fast. My dad was a tournament angler, and my dad's philosophy was cover more water, catch more fish. That's a very true statement if you just want to catch fish. But I tell people, if you want to catch big fish, cover the water you're covering more thoroughly. If you if you've caught one big fish out of an area, believe me, there's more than one big fish in that area. Go back and fish those areas. And what I mean by that, say for instance, one of the questions I get asked, because I guide for so many people, people go, well, aren't you afraid of people going back in and fishing those areas that you took them to? No, not at all. First off, that's one of the reasons they hired me. They hired me to find where to go, what to use, all that stuff. And I'm going to show them all that. The difference is when they come back and fish by themselves, they're probably not going to fish as slow as they fished when they were with me when I'm running the boat. They don't realize it because they don't realize how slow we're actually fishing when they go with me. But I'd say that's number one of the keys. And then, you've got to have the equipment. I use, this is 25-pound Seagar Invisex fluorocarbon line. And this is what they call a super line hook. It's extremely heavy wire hook. And this is a 7-foot Signature Series Chuck Justice, extra heavy action rod. It's kind of funny in my rods, when I use them, the rods that I use, once I start fishing shallow, I only actually have 2 different styles of rods I use. I use a 7 or 7.3 medium heavy, and I use a 7 or 7.3 extra heavy. I don't have any heavy action rods. I jump from medium heavy up to extra heavy because as you can see in this heavy cover, you have to bring the fish out of here. And lots of times a heavy action rod just won't get it done. When that extra heavy action, that extra backbone, you can pull those fish out of that cover. And you have to pull them out of there. If you don't pull them out of there, the odds of getting them out of there are pretty slim to none. Oh, there you go. Did you see that one hit it? Got him. Oh, yeah. Another good one. Wow, that was cool. Came up and hit it as I brought it over the top of that limb. All right. Male bass. Boy, he was aggressive. I brought it over the top of the limb, and I mean, he nailed it like it was a topwater lure. You go tell your great grandma we want to talk to her pretty please. See how healthy the fish are here at McGee Creek. They're just, all of them, and it's amazing to me. The lake doesn't get fished, extremely heavy. McGee Creek, to me, is probably the best year-round trophy bass lake in the state of Oklahoma. And there's several reasons for that. First of all, McGee Creek's a very unique lake. It's the most beautiful, pristine lake in the state of Oklahoma and for many states around it. There's one road coming into the state park where the campgrounds are. Once you get into your boat, you're going back and through the state park part of the lake, then through the wildlife management area part of the lake. And there's no houses or roads back in there, so it's very pristine, very beautiful, very quiet. That deer up there, right behind those trees, there's 2 or 3 of them. See them up there on the bank? See a lot of deer down here.
Now is that still the state park?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's the state park there. Those deer don't get hunted. That's the reason they're not afraid of us talking or anything else.
What other stuff do you see from the boat?
I see a lot of turkeys, a lot of hogs.
Yep. Oh, pulled it. Oh, it's still on. It just, your bait
threw my bait.
flew out.
Yeah, he threw that bait a long ways.
Yeah, I did.
And then we see bass every once in a while we're out here.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Every once in a while we see the little green-looking fish. Another male right there. This is one of the few lakes in the state that ever since it was built, from the time it was built until now, it's only been stocked with the Florida genetic bass. Some people say Florida hybrid. It's not a hybrid. It's just a strain of bass. It's a Florida strain of bass. And those bass, they grow faster. They get bigger, but they have some drawbacks too. They're a little smarter, and they're very susceptible to any kind of a weather change. And I mean, it can be very minute weather change. It can be a bright sunny day and then clouds roll in, and you can be catching fish in the sun, and when the clouds roll in, just quit getting bit, or vice versa. This one was back in the trees. I mean, in the trees. Caught this one on a Geenaroo rattling crawler. It's one of my favorite baits right here. And the reason it's one of my favorite baits is because it catches me a lot of big fish. People say if you could only throw one bait, what'd it be? I say whatever they're hitting best that day. All right, what'd be Todd? I'm coming, bud.
Okay.
I'm coming, partner. Yeah, what'd it be, Todd? What'd it be, man?
Took me nearly all day.
He's not a big one, but he's a fish. Come here, baby. Come here. Another male. Yeah. Yeah, they're chewing bubble gum today. This evening, anyway. You tell your great grandma we want to talk to her, pretty please.
Yeah.
Good one, Todd. Howdy, buddy.
Yeah, still on there.
Oh yeah, you got him. You got him. Here you go, buddy. Oh, nice one too. Nice one, Todd. Here we go. You know, I'm just so blessed. You know, I mean, and I want to be known as one of the, you know, fishing legends of Oklahoma. You know, I really do. It embarrasses me sometimes when I'm at shows and people say that to me. But when I'm gone, it won't be embarrassing me anymore then. And I'd like to be known, yeah, definitely as one of the guys who, you know, not just in Oklahoma, but as a legend throughout the whole United States as a trophy fisherman. Another one, decent one. Oh yeah. Well, folks, this is my kind of fish here. I missed this fish 3 times before I caught it. And that's my kind of fish. Of any fish that'll let me, that size right there, that'll let me miss it 3 times before I catch it, that's my kind of fish. And I know why, and I definitely know why I missed it. It's inexperience, I just need to go more. Sometimes I have no doubt I get more excited about my clients' big fish than they do because it just excites me. I mean, I'm like a little kid. You know, every day I'm not a little kid anymore, but inside I am. I still have the same passion as that little boy that got those perch as her grandma cooked for him. You know, that passion still burns very strong inside of me. But that's another real healthy fish. I'll turn her loose over here in the sun and see if she'll, go tell your cousins that give us a bunch of more chances, okay? Bye-bye, sweetheart. See you later. And I've never thought of this as a job. People say, when are you going to retire? I say, you'll be coming to my retirement party because they'll be putting me about 6 feet under when I retire. I've been blessed that I've been able to catch a lot of big fish, but I had to learn how to do it. And I'm not, when you hire me as a guide, I'm very open to you. I take you to my best places. I try to give you all the information that you want. And the information I try to give you is not, you know, it's from what I've learned. That's the things I remember. I remember the people. That's what the highlights are to me.
There we go.
Come on, Todd. Bring him, brother. Come help you. Just keep bringing him, brother. Just keep bringing him. There you go. Wait a minute. Woo! Yeah. All right. Where to be, Todd? Man, that fish was not getting away. You double hooked him. Look at that. Todd double hooked that fish. It went through his jaw, out his jaw, back in his jaw. You know how that one gets off? Breaks your line. That's the only way it gets off. Way to be, man. Woo! Way to be, Todd.
You know, it's been a long day, but man, I have learned so much and had so much fun with you. Finally getting to spend some time with the legendary Chuck Justice in the boat.
Well, boy, Chuck taught you how to set the hook good. Fishing's supposed to be fun. You know, that's what I remember about the most when I very first started was, golly, you know, it was always fun to go. And just like right now, you know, I've been doing it long enough now that there's times a year when I fish 7 days a week. As I get older, my body gets tired, but every morning I'm still that little kid. I can't wait to get to the boat ramp. I really can. I mean, it doesn't make any difference how many days I fish. I'm always excited about getting to go to the water, and I'm really excited about meeting new people and trying to help them, pass on to them what I've learned.
Well, thank you so much, Chuck. This has been just a fantastic day, and I've learned a lot from the master.
Yeah, we've had a good time, haven't we?
We sure have.
You know, I always tell people no matter what, you should have a good time if you get to go fishing. That ought to be fun.
That's a fact.
Well, better put this little boy, this is a little male. See how
Certainly.
skinny his bill
I'll
is?
take that, and you take the fish. Yep.
All right, I'll turn that loose. Well,
All right.
it really has been a great day. It started out kind of slow, but as the afternoon went on and the water temperature finally started warming up a little bit, you know, it seemed like the fish have turned on a little bit more.
Yeah.
But we've definitely had more bites this evening than we did this morning. Mm-hmm. You know, caught a couple of good fish. And I'm gonna have to get you another worm, but I got another one. But,
I bet you do.
but anyway, it's been a blast. I really appreciate you coming down and going with me. Let's just make sure it's not 20 years before we do it again. How about that?
That's a deal.
You know, maybe we can go up to Sardis next time or someplace like that.
All right. Thanks
Good
so
seeing
much.
you, buddy.
You bet.
It's really great being with you.
You bet. Hey, thanks for joining us today. You know, if you're like me and you're still after that double-digit bass someday, well, all I can say is keep after it. I mean, if there's one thing I've learned from my buddy Chuck Justice is that they're out there. And to catch them, you got to get out here too. For all of us at your wildlife department, I'm Todd Craighead, and we'll see you right back here next time on Outdoor Oklahoma.